Welcome everybody. Today I will show you how to grind in Magic Arena. And for that I will show you my deck. It's a Golgari Explorer deck and we will use it in the best of one constructed queue. And so the deck is mainly about card advantage, get a lot of early Explorer creatures with which you can get a lot of free land draws. Then, oh, that's the wrong one. It's this here. And then here you see a lot of Explorer creatures. We have also 3 copies of Wildgrowth Walker because there are a lot of red decks in the constructed queue, and the life gain is really good if it sticks to the board. We have also some removal. We have a lot of Explorer creatures. We have also the Jadelight Ranger with Explorers 2 times. Then we got some Midnight Reapers. They are also really effective because we have so much creatures in this deck, and he will just draw in so insane much cards. And then we have 2 copies of Assassin's Trophy, which is just a really good removal with the downside of giving our opponent a land. Then we have 3 copies of Finality. In the early game we can get a lot of creatures back from the graveyard, and in the late game we can just wipe the board with it. Then we have Golden Demise. It's mostly against aggro decks. It's really good in the early game, and in the late game the Escant bonus is also really nice. And we got 2 copies of Ravenous of this beast horror here. When it enters the battlefield, it destroys target creature and opponent controls. Really useful. And because we can cycle it with Finality or with the Findbroker, which gives us a permanent back from the graveyard, it's really useful, and we can use it multiple times. Then we have a Ritual of the Soot. It's also mostly against the red and the blue tempo deck, so we can destroy all the small creatures, and we have the benefit that we can reuse our cards from the grave, and most of the time they will also have generated some value before they die. Then we have some Planeswalkers, the Vraska, which can destroy small threats and can give us some card draw. Then we have a Kardas kind of Urza. He's also really important for card draw. And then 2 copies of Doom Whisperer, just an insanely good card. If we got some life with the Wildgrowth Walker, we can just spam his ability, a Flying Trample. He has to be removed or he will completely wreck our opponent. And even more card draw with Vivien Reid. And it's also useful to destroy enchantments or creature with flying. And finally the Vraska Relic Seeker. It's also a really good card. Here we can add a Memorial to Folly. It's really useful to get some creature back from the grave in the late game. So then let's jump into the game. We play Constructed Event because you really get the value back. If you manage to win 7 times, you get the double entry and you get 2 free rares, which is really good. And I think it's relatively easy to get 4 wins, and you get your entry back, and you get a rare and 2 uncommons, which is equivalent to if you both a pack, and you get no wild cards, that's for sure, but a pack has also 1 rare and 2 uncommons in it. So let's start and see how the deck does. Okay, that's mostly the first step of the game where I watch what the portrait opponent has. Okay, we have a decent hand. We can play this turn 1 and then we can curve into some Merfolk Branchwalker where we can sort a deck. And let's see what the opponent has. Perhaps he has a mono blue deck, or he has an explorer, not an explorer and wizard deck. We'll just lay down a Wildgrowth Walker. Perhaps he has some counter magic up. I think it is a wizard deck which we're facing here with the radical idea, or perhaps some mono blue special kind deck. I really don't know. So we start with attacking. Always attack first, then lay down the threats, because you get more information what the enemy wants to do. In this case, it would have also been possible that he has something to play against. Now we will just lay down our threats. It's possible that he has counter magic, but we don't care if something like this gets countered. This is fine, drop. And now we get some free life. The only drop we really wanna to hit the board is the Doom Whisperer. Because if we can get Doom Whisperers laid down and he has nothing to play against it to give bouncing back, then he can just win us the game. So he has only 2 mana open, perhaps he has still a counter spell, but we will see. We will start. This time we don't attack first, because we get some more counters on our Wildgrowth Walker. So we start with playing the creatures. And this is fine, but we don't really need it at the moment. He has some problem with his lands, and I don't think that he has a really lot of creatures which we cannot remove with this here. Okay, and the second one. We have developed a pretty nice board. Perhaps he still is able to counter. We like him to counter some cards, but it doesn't look like. Normally, mono blue doesn't have any cards to remove all our cards, so we can just lay down everything and then attack for 6. And now he is in trouble because he needs to remove our cards. He can throw another card. Yes, it is a wizard deck. He has bad luck. He didn't throw any red cards, so we will probably lose. And now you see the consistency of the better land drops. I also run some Guildgates because they are just cheaper. We start with attacking. Let's see if he's able to do something. But I think this is a free win for us. We just played Midnight Reaper. If he has some red damage, which he can deal to us. The counter spell, he is down at 4 life. He needs to block 2 of our creatures, and we have still this here. The Ravenous Chupacabra, and Crackling Drake gives him card draw, but this is not enough. He still has only 2 blue mana. He could have something to bounce back a creature. It's true, but that was a really big mistake. He shouldn't have played this. So we can just attack with everybody. And that's the first win. Nice. That's something which is really bad if you get mana screwed in the best of one queue, because you have only one game. If you get mana screwed or if you get flooded, it's bad luck. You just lose. That's something we can, which is not a really big problem in our deck, because we have a lot of explore creatures, and if there are, let's say, 3 or 4 lands at the start in our top of the deck, we just will draw them for free. And in the other case, if we only draw creatures, we have a lot of explore creatures which are cheap, which we can play, and so we certainly get some value back. No is the we'll play him, because if they have something like a Steamkin or so, they cannot play it. Okay, they can play it, but we can play our Jadelight Ranger, and now we get 6 life, and we get our Wildgrowth Walker will get 5 toughness, which is really strong. And with 5 toughness, it's really hard to remove the Wildgrowth Walker. And if we cannot remove him in the next turn, we will just explore again, and then we get more life. So let's see what he does. He has 3 mana, he probably a Chain Whirler. I almost thought something like this would come, but he cannot attack, as you see, and we have 3 Jadelight Rangers in our starting hand. I hope we get some lands. And now we don't need the trophy. This is a really good card. This is so good because there is the possibility, and I will just attack. I will attack all the time because I have more life, and if he has to do something like this, it's really an advantage for me. Another Steam King, that's fine. Okay, now there's the question if I shall just use the Ritual of the Soot. It's not really a bad idea. I will probably play the Midnight Reaper first, so I can get a lot of card draw out of it. So we'll block the Steamkin. If we get it down, it is really nice. Okay. And we'll taunt our opponent a little bit. Oh, this is a good card. We get even more life back, and we will attack with everyone. So the opponent is down at 6. If he just attacks, we have a lot of creatures, perhaps. We get a free. That was the typical case. If you get down the Wildgrowth Walker against the red deck and you can explore 1 or twice, you get, say, 6 to 12 life, and the opponent loses, because most of the time an Experimental Frenzy can bring him back, but it's really hard. And we have some enchantment removal in the deck, which we didn't draw this time, but it's just the best case if the enemy lays down an Experimental Frenzy and mono red against you in turn 4. You have some small board and you just play, let's say, and removal like an Assassin's Trophy onto the Experimental Frenzy, and you literally won the game, because the enemy can't do anything from there. Okay, this is a nice start as well. I like to be not on the draw, because we have a lot of card draw in the deck. Now we want to draw green mana, which we already did, and so we can just chain them. Perhaps this is another counter magic deck. I will play the Wildgrowth Walker, and there was now no counter spell. This, okay, it's more likely a survival deck. That isn't so bad for us, because we can get free card draws. Okay, Tempest Chain, turn 2. We don't like this, but we have some removal, we have some explore. This can go to the graveyard, and he can attack us, we will attack back. Let's see what he has. Curious Obsession, this is really bad. This is even better. We will need to draw some removal really quickly, or we will lose also really quickly. And there's a good possibility that he had a counter spell, but now it's too late to counter anything. We will need some life. This is not useful at the moment. We will attack and start to race, but with 2 Curious Obsessions and much likely a protection spell in his hand, there's almost nothing to do. 3 Curious Obsession at the moment. It does really bad for our game. As you can, we draw already 5 cards. This is something we can't beat. Now we'll play a Merfolk Branchwalker, which he can counter if he likes. Nothing. Now we get some life back. Assassin's Trophy is a wonderful card, we can really use it. I don't think that it will tick. And we play another explore card. We can probably erase, since we have a lot of damage on the board and we have a lot of life gain, but he probably has a sleep spell or something like it, and he has 2 creatures, so let's see. It won't be easy, that's for sure. And he certainly has a counterspell or a Merfolk Trickster or something, which that's right. If he would have played well, he should have played this a turn earlier, so I wouldn't get the 2 counters, and I wouldn't get the life. Yeah, he has just had a good curve, and he has his last copy of the Curious Obsession, so I definitely will lose this game. Yeah, I like the mono blue deck. It's a fast deck. I have also one, but it is just, yeah. We will attack with everyone, and then we can concede, I think. Yeah, it's always hard to play against a deck which has a perfect curve, which has all his threats really fast. And we are already at 5 wins, so we will get our entry back, and we'll get a free rare and 2 incoming cards, so it will be worth in any case. And you know, the matchmaking is based about strength and about how much wins you already have. This is a little bit risky hand. We are first play, we will need to draw a land or an explorer creatures. But that's just how the deck excels here, because most of the time we will get something Yes, now we will need to draw a land, or even better, an explore creature. He has no Curious Obsession. I think that is always a good start for us. Here is it. That is the reason why I really like this deck. Because you draw no land, you have only 2 land, but you get to draw 1 for free. So you take it for free. Which means it gives the deck a really nice curve. It just gives you so much consistency. Now here's the Tempest Chain. We have to think about just removing him while there is no mana open, and I think I really like that idea. Normally the best play would be to wait until he plays something like a Curious Obsession and then remove the Jinn, but in this case wouldn't be a really good idea. Now we can play our Vraska. He won't get enough damage down, or he could counter it. We play a Jadelight first. He can also counter this. He doesn't like to, which isn't so bad. We get free land drop. We get a Wildgrowth Walker, which can stick in our library, because we have another Jadelight Ranger, and we can play both in the next turn. We can attack this guy. And now you see we got 2 lands from our explore cards, and he got just some small features. Now he has not such a good curve as he had before. So I'm going to play this. He can counter it if he likes, but probably he doesn't even have a counter spell up. And this is a free win. I don't think that the blue tempo deck is a really good deck at the moment. I think it's average at most, because it just is really dependent on having the Curious Obsession in the starting hand. If you don't have Curious Obsession in the starting hand, you won't get to draw more cards, and if you don't get to draw a lot of more cards, you will most likely lose the game. Here we have to get in our starting hand, an optimal starting hand is at least 2 mana and 1 or 2 explore creatures, and then we have a really good chance to draw either more lands or more cheap explore creatures which can give you more lands. And so the deck is really consistent. This is a wonderful start. We can curve into turn 2 Seekers Squire, Jadelight Ranger, and then Karn. Most likely we will face against the red deck. He has to mulligan a lot of times, so this is already a really big advantage for us. It's the third deck, but we don't have removal. That is the only problem. Let's see if he has a Curious Obsession. Yes, he does. Question is if he also has some counter spells, and if we will draw something to destroy his Cloak Terror. This is also now would be the best turn to draw something. We don't. Just play to get our down. This is a wonderful card. We will keep it. Let's see what he does. There's a possibility that he has some counter magic. No, it's almost impossible to destroy his Mistcloak Herald because of the Storm Tamer. But we have other ways to win the game. We have a lot more cards at the moment in the hand. And let's start with attack. Attacking, we always want to attack first. If there is no benefit of using of playing your cards before attacking. Perhaps he has a counterspell, he doesn't seem to use it. This you can go to the graveyard and the free land, which is also nice. So we can play our Karn, which will give you some extra life, let's say this way, because he has to attack it, and even better, the Curious Obsession won't do anything on the Karn, so we won't get to draw more cards. He can also have a lot of counterspells. This is really the problem at the moment, and 2 Curious Obsession is a nice start with, and we have no real possibility to play something against it. We are out damaging them a little bit at the moment. The question is, yeah, we will try to play the Karn. It looks like he has a counterspell, a Wizard's Retort. This is a really powerful counterspell in his deck because it only costs 2. What would be nice in our position would be find Finality if he has no counterspell up, or yeah, we have 2 turns left here to do something. We had no early removal, which is always bad against this deck. It's really funny that we encounter so much decks. If he has another counterspell, we are dead for sure. If he doesn't, just won the game. We'll attack with her body. Let's see what he does. And then we play our Ritual of the Soot. If it resolves, we win the game. If it doesn't, we will lose. And this doesn't look so bad. Let's see. This is wonderful. That was really good that we played our Karn the turn before. Let's see if he has also land drop. He can really much likely he can protect him. Yes, but if he doesn't have a Curious Obsession in his hand, he doesn't win. Or he kills the Vivien Reid, which would even be better. He don't. So let's see if he will draw something fine. Sadly not. So he will win Anyways. Okay, that was it. Sadly we played against 3 mono blue decks, which is not really the best matchup for us. But we get 600 gold and 3 cards, which we essentially get for free. Oh, this is a really nice card for a Silesian in your Conwalk deck. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. It was a short episode. I will make some other ones. And goodbye.